This new ChatGPT update is absolutely insane. So what we can see here is a new update from ChatGPT that allows you to generate images using ChatGPT 4.0. So for example, if you tag in the option create image, you can actually edit and create insanely good images like you can see right here, like professional level design. So for example, I said create a landscape YouTube thumbnail like this, but it should be read the end of designers, about new ChatGPT updates. Previously it's about search. And we actually got it to edit the image like you see right here. It wasn't quite perfect. And then I said, right, now frame it better so there's more background space. Cut it off so there's no space around the edges. Remove the designers at the bottom. Boom shakalaka, we have a professionally designed thumbnail ready to go using ChatGPT images. This is a game changer. Bear in mind, like, for example, for thumbnail designs or, Facebook ad creatives, you're looking at anywhere between like $30 to $100 per design. Now, if you're using ChatGPT, you can do it for free using this process. And yeah, it's absolutely wild how powerful this is. Here's some more examples. So you can see we took this image, generated it through ChatGPT, asked it to edit it, and we've got a beautiful thumbnail right there. And the same for example, like Facebook ads images. So for example, if we say create image, replicate this, but make it more unique, boom, there you go. The only thing I would say with the drawback here is like, obviously that doesn't look quite the same as the original. It looks a bit weird, but I'm sure you can go back and forth and edit it. Here's another one. So we said, recreate this thumbnail. So just recreate it, right? Make it better. Took a screenshot of the thumbnail, like tiny little resolution right there, and boom, it just recreated it like you can see right here. Face is still a little bit weird, but I didn't ask it to make it the same face. I asked it to make it more unique, right? And you can see here how it's just replicated, for example, the icons. You can edit images seamlessly. It's kind of like a version of Canva, but 100 times better because it's faster, it's easier. It doesn't cost you what all you're doing is paying like for the subscription of ChatGPT, and this will be coming for free as well to use as soon. And it is incredibly easy to use. I mean, like, why do you need a designer anymore? That's the crazy thing that also scares me at the same time. So if you're wondering, okay, what are the details on this? What's changed, etc. So this is the update announced, and it was just like a day or so ago that this came out. So this is 4.0 image generation. So it's no longer using DALL-E 3 from what I'm aware, right? It says on ChatGPT and OpenAI's website, unlocking useful and valuable image generation with a natively multimodal, capable of precise, accurate, photorealistic outputs, right? So, for example, if you go onto ChatGPT here, we'll start a new chat, and then you select create image, this is where you can create your images. Now, for example, we could go on to YouTube. Let me just take an example thumbnail here. It's actually scary how easy it is to replicate stuff now. So, for example, if we take maybe a thumbnail like this one, all right, we'll grab that, take a little cheeky screenshot. There we go. All right. And then what we're going to do from here is we're going to copy that image. So I'm going to copy this image on Mac. There we go. All right. And then from here, we're going to go into ChatGPT, like you can see, and we're going to say, okay, just make this slightly brighter, plus more interesting, more shocking, should we say, right? And you can see here that you can actually understand the image. You can understand what we're doing here. It will take like a few minutes to generate, but actually it seems to be faster and better than DALL-E 3 previous. And it is unbelievable what you can get. We can check back in that in a second. We'll see the outputs. So this is really, really cool stuff. So yeah, I honestly used to use Grok 3 and Flux, their model inside Grok 3 for generating images, but this is like 10 times better stuff. I mean, here's an example. So they've said a widescreen image with a phone of a glass whiteboard in a room overlooking the Bay Bridge, field, blah, blah, blah. Generated this image, which is pretty cool. And then selfie view of the photographer as she turns around to high-five him. Boom, look at that image. Like, how realistic is that? Looks super, super realistic. Like, most people outside of the AI world could never tell that image was generated. So designers are cooked, my friends. Graphic designers particular, absolutely cooked. And yeah, you get the point. I'm sure it can design, like, for example, apps and that sort of thing as well, if you wanted to like improve the UI. Or you could screenshot your UI. You know, if you were generating a SaaS product, put it inside the chat, ask it to redesign it using that process. So it's incredibly powerful. And it's really interesting the way they've sort of portrayed it on the website. So they've said from the first cave paintings to modern infographics, humans have used visual imagery to communicate, persuade, and analyze, which is true, right? So if you look at the way, people design Facebook ads or the way that people design, for example, YouTube thumbnails, right? This is all about influencing, persuading, and educating, right? And AI is just kind of developed a whole new level of communicating with humans, right? You can see we just generated a new version of that thumbnail. Boom shakalaka, we're ready to go, right? We could also say, okay, change the bottom v3.1 to, and I'll put we're cooked. Then make that text red. And then you can just edit images like you see, right? And you don't need to design. You don't really need to use your brain that much. And it's just like, oh, here's the problem. Okay, let's quickly change that and edit it inside here. So it's just ridiculously and stupidly good. Like, I've never seen anything like this. I've never expected AI to get to this level this quickly, to be honest, when it comes to images, because that is, that's a $50 design or $100 design right there. Like, you pay good money for this. I pay thousands of dollars for design every single month. I think we pay a thumbnail anywhere between like $30 to $100 per thumbnail. Now we can do it for free inside ChatGPT. And if you're watching this, mate, I'm really sorry. Like, I'm sorry ChatGPT has done this. We'll still use designers, don't get me wrong, but for slight tweaks or just improving a design or just like leveling up a design and getting it exactly how I want, it's much easier to just go through ChatGPT, get it done in like 2 minutes rather than going back and forth with a designer and messing around with all that stuff, right? That's the difference. It's scary stuff. So how does this work? Well, you can see an example here. So they say create a photorealistic image for two witches in their 20s. And then, it's created this nice little image right there. I mean, that is very photorealistic. It feels very, very similar. My goodness, doesn't it feel similar? And then we've got multi-turn generation. So it says, because image generation is now native to GPT-4o, you can refine images through natural conversation. GPT-4o can build upon images and text in chat context, ensuring consistency throughout. For example, if you're designing a video game character, the character's appearance remains coherent across multiple iterations as you refine the experiment. So this was a big problem with ChatGPT before. It's like, if you asked for a new version of the previous version that DALL-E 3 created, it would be a totally different image. It wasn't like you were just tweaking one little thing. Whereas now, for example, if you say, right, give this cat a detective hat and a monocle, well, of course it's going to do it, mate, right? I mean, literally, this is the best thing since sliced bread, since I saw sliced bread, right? It's amazing how good it is and how powerful it is. I mean, you can also take this to a whole new level. So if you look at the realism here, it feels a little bit weird, right? But then scroll down and look at that image. Like, that's basically perfect, right? You can see here how it's been sort of superimposed into a video game as well. So it started out like this with an actual image of a cat, and that is someone's cat. Then we've added a detective hat and a monocle on top, right? We got the Sherlock Holmes of the cat world right there. And then what it's done is it's turned that into kind of like a RPG character, like you can see with the bars underneath. And then it's like, right, let's just put this in a landscape mode and just casually put it into a video game style. And it's created something that looks better than the PlayStation games I used to create when I was younger. I mean, when I used to play when I was younger, right? So you can see how powerful this is and how unbelievably good it is. I mean, look at that, right? So we took this image, we said, make it slightly brighter and more shocking. And then we said, change the bottom V3.1 to we're cooked and make the text red. Boom. Thumbnail done, mate. What more do you want, right? Like, and it's done in the space of like 2 seconds. So the cool thing about this is as well, this is not like a gimmick. Like, this has an actionable purpose, right? So for example, look at the thumbnail for this video, right? Like, you can actually use these images for thumbnails. They're incredibly good and incredibly powerful, right? So this is not a gimmick. It's not like a nice to have. It's not like an extra feature. It's like something you can go out there and actually start using today, right? Which is a beautiful thing about this. It's like you're creating something that has a very, very practical use case. It's not like nice to have or anything like that. So really cool stuff. Can it help build websites? I think what it could be really good for is, like, for example, designing UI. So if we go back to, the way that you can design the UI like this with games, you can take like real life images like this cat that someone actually has and then turn it into a video game character and then probably build that with Gemini 2.5 or O1 Mini. Like, yeah, It's unbelievably good. So the scary thing about this is basically, designers have been replaced overnight, undeniably, right? Like, why would you use a designer anymore when you can just create something like this? You don't need to manage someone. You don't need to quality control someone. You don't need to pay them. You don't need to wait a day for the images and the designs to come back. And if you, for example, were spending maybe like $200 a day on thumbnails or designs, well, now you can switch to ChatGPT and the image creator. You save yourself $200 a day, and all of a sudden you're looking at $6,000 extra profit and a lot of time saved in management time. Right? That's the difference in how powerful this stuff is, and yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable. Now, what you can also do is you can generate coded images. Right? So for example, here you've got code generated images like you can see. So this is a code generated image. For example, let's test this out. I want to see if this actually works, right? So we're going to grab that like so. It's a 3JS code example. And then it's created an image off the back of it. So basically what it's done is it's taken the HTML code, and then inside the chat, the user has said, make an image of what this means to you, right? What does this image mean to you? And then it actually creates a coded image. So it kind of uses the language of code in HTML to switch that into an image and generate an image off the back of it, which is pretty wild when you think about it. It's like could you do that with a human? No. Like, it's only an AI that's really capable of that. Here's another example. So this is a candid paparazzi style photo of Karl Marx hurriedly walking through the parking lot of the Mall of America. Weird, crazy stuff right here. I mean, picture of a car. What else we got? Very, very realistic stuff as well, isn't it? When you look at it, it's like, why would you use? I can imagine, tools like, for example, Shutterstock. Why would you use Shutterstock anymore? Why would you pay for these stock image websites when you can just replace them with hyper realistic stuff like this, right? Here's another example. You can also create infographics. You can crop stuff. You can edit hallucinations. You got precise graphing as well, text rendering, editing precision, dense information with small text, etc. Is unbelievable powerful. They've actually got a live stream that you can watch on the website if you want to watch that back. But yeah, really, really cool stuff. So, you can see how it can be used, how powerful it is, how it's actually like very, very practical. This is not a gimmick. Like, I could run an ad with that. The only thing that I would change is probably like, for example, I would take that image and ask it to make it more realistic. Or what I could do is I can go onto the website. Let's do that. So let's go onto the website here, and we'll take that image right there. And then I'm going to go back into ChatGPT here, and I'm going to say, okay, insert and replace the person in the image with this image attached. All right, so basically what we've done is said, right, replace this geezer over here who looks, quite weird, to be honest with you, and then insert this image instead, right? And it should just be able to do it. We'll see how it goes and what it goes. Some people are saying, like, is this available on the free version? So it's coming for the free version of ChatGPT. It's not available yet, right? So Sam Altman actually tweeted about this, and he said, images in ChatGPT are way more popular than we expected, and we had pretty high expectations. Rollout to our free tier is unfortunately going to be delayed for a while, but I know it's coming. It's just a case of when. Right? But you can see some of the interesting stuff you can do here. Pretty crazy, crazy stuff. Also, the other thing I would say that's changed here is, like, DALL-E 3 was very limited. Like, if you asked it to, do anything like this, it would just never do it, and it would return like really cartoonish stuff. And also, it was very limited in terms of, like, you couldn't create an image of like a famous person or something like that. They really sort of limited it so that you couldn't, for example, ask it to generate an image of Elon Musk or something like that. So let's see what we get back here. We'll wait for that to load. Takes, I would say, literally about 60 seconds to 180 seconds to get back the image. If, for example, you try to, one of my other favorite sort of places for generating images is Grok, right? So if we go into Grok here, we'll paste this in like so, as you can see, and then we're going to do exactly the same prompt. So I'm going to say replicate this, but more unique, and see if it can do the same thing. I don't think it's going to be able to. Yeah, so it's created sort of an image. Honestly, that's not great. I'm not that happy with the image generated right there. That looks even weirder than the original. They're both kind of weird, but it's not bad. It's not bad. All right. And the other thing that I would like to test here is like maybe we'll stop that and we'll say, okay, take this image and turn it into a Facebook ad. And we'll see if it can do it, right? About my SEO agency and backlinks. And then design equals minimal, sleek, benefit driven copy like Alex Hormozy. And we'll plug that in and see what we got. Now, if you have a look at the responses from Grok, pretty trash, to be honest. Look how pixelated that is. The text is terrible right there. It didn't get anywhere near the same level as ChatGPT. So, ChatGPT came back to us with this, GPT-4o with the images feature. Grok came back to us with this. Terrible. I could never use that on a Facebook ad, but I could use that, right? I have used similar images on Facebook ads before like that. So you get the point. And it's very, very unique. So, you can see the difference here. You can see what makes them unique. You can see the difference in quality even. Like the resolution here, pretty bad compared to ChatGPT's resolution. The similarity in imagery between this and this is nowhere near. Whereas if you look at ChatGPT, the similarity in the image between this and this is basically the same, but maybe that even looks a bit better, right? And then if you want to download it, boom, there you go. You got the image ready to go, as you can see right there. And it's pretty good quality, All right. So let's have a look. This is a Facebook ad that we're getting back in. We'll wait for that to load. So yeah, this is the interesting thing. So, and I think it's got the image right there, but it's generating like quite a nice ad right there. Pretty simple to insert. It's using the image that I asked it to generate. This is coming out in real time, peeps. We got history in the making right here. We got a Facebook ad in the making. Let's say for example, you need to create, I don't know, 10 different Facebook ads to test each week. Well, how easy would it be now to do that using ChatGPT, right? You could have multiple tabs open and then just create 10 different images and say like, create 10 different variations of this, different sales copy, etc. It would just go off and do it, right? And all of a sudden it's faster and it's easier and it's far, far cheaper than using an actual designer. So I think the end, for website developers already came. I think the end for SaaS developers, app developers, etc. It's already come, with tools like Lovable, Bolt, etc. The end for human writers came a long time ago when ChatGPT 3.5 came along. This, I honestly think, is the end for designers. Like, I can't see why you would use a designer, especially for the average, Jack Johnson off the street trying to save a bit of money and do stuff. So it's unbelievably powerful. You can do similar things, I think, inside Gemini 2.5 Pro as well, which would be super interesting to do. I might come onto that later, but you get the point, and you can see how powerful this is. So thanks very much for watching. If you are thinking about designer, you probably just save yourself thousands of dollars by using the information from this video, honestly. And if you want to join a community with people focused on saving money and making more money, plus saving time with AI, feel free to join the AI Profit Boardroom. Prices are going up in a few days, so make sure you sign up now before the end of the month. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on that legacy pricing option. And also, this comes with all my best automations, so like email content automation, social media, AI agents and workflows, web automation, AI trends, SEO automation, NA10 templates, a crash course, plus my whole collection for SOPs, right? And this gets updated pretty much daily. Like, you can see all the stuff that we've been adding directly inside here every single day inside March. And then also in the community, you can ask 557 members any questions you have about AI. So if you're struggling with anything AI related, you can post inside the community and get your question solved. So for example, Sean, he posted yesterday and, he got answers pretty much straight away. You can also see, for example, we have weekly Q&A calls. So if you need live help, not in the community, then you can jump on the live calls right here. These get recorded as well, so you can watch them back inside the Q&A call recording section over here. And yeah, it's just a community focused on making you more money and saving time with AI. And if you want to get more leads, traffic, sales, customers, if you want to make more money with your website, feel free to book in a free SEO strategy session. And on this call, one-to-one, we'll show you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visits this month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot. And on this free link building acceleration session, you'll get a free SEO domination plan. So that's a custom game plan to make you more money and get more customers with SEO. You'll also be able to answer any questions that you have live on the call, and you'll learn how to 10x SEO traffic based on what's working for us and our happy clients, like you can see right here. Feel free to get that link in the comments and the description. How do you manage to make so many well-edited videos per week? Great question. Thank you. So if you want to get like my secrets to that, join the SEO Elite Circle. It's inside the comments description. If you join there, inside the classroom here, you'll see my whole game plan on YouTube SEO. And this is how, I create so many videos all the time, my whole work roadmap for doing that. Like if you want to learn all the stuff that works for me, you can get it right here. And this is like a full course on YouTube SEO based on how I've got over 15 million views on YouTube. So feel free to get it. Kevin says, keep it up, bro. Look up to you. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. That's super kind. And, I respect everyone who watches. So thank you. And Yasid says, thank you for the live, man. We got so many positive people in here. Awesome. Appreciate it. All right. So I'm just going to take a minute and then we'll come on to a Gemini 2.5 Pro. Give me a sec here. If you have any questions, feel free to post in the comments just whilst we're waiting right there. New Gemini 2.5 Pro, how to build anything. So today, what I'm going to show you is how to build basically anything in many different ways using the latest update that just came out about 24 hours ago from Gemini 2.5 Pro. And the coolest thing about this is actually free to use if you have the right techniques. I'll show you exactly how to do that. By the way, if you want all of the SOPs for the stuff that I show you today, you can get it inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Just go down to Gemini Pro 2.5 Pro down here, and you can get access to everything right here, including all these techniques that I'm about to show you. I'm going to show you 9 different ways to build anything that you want using Gemini 2.5 Pro. And we're going to kick it off with something interesting called Bolt DIY. Now, Bolt DIY is a really powerful way to start using AI to build stuff locally, right? And it's kind of like Bolt.new, but Bolt.new is a paid tool where you have to pay to build SaaS or apps or that sort of thing. But you can actually use it for free directly inside Bolt Local. So let me show you exactly how to set this up, how it works, etc. First thing that you're going to do is you're going to go to Terminal, right? And then inside Terminal, let me show you how to do this. And by the way, if you want access to all this stuff, you want to learn how to do this stuff, get it inside the AI Profit Boardroom. I've got full SOPs and all this stuff and how to do it right here. And we're just going to get straight into this, all right? So if you want to start coding locally with Gemini 2.5 Pro to build apps, games, tools, etc., then you can use this terminal command like you can see right here. And then we're going to npm install like you can see. Just going to paste that in. Then from here, we're going to use this. All right. Next up, what we're going to do is npm run dev that bad boy. All right. And then that's just going to start running this. Boom shakalaka. That was easy, wasn't it? Right. Then what we're going to do is we're going to open this up. So this is running locally now. It's kind of like a free version of Bolt.new, right? So you don't need to pay for this. It's completely free to use. And if you select Open Router in the settings right here, scroll down, you can get access to the latest version of Google Gemini 2.5 experimental, right? And this is how you can start coding stuff, right? So you can switch to Google over here, but I can't see 2.5 Pro experimental in the list. So the best way to use this, start coding with the API key, which is going to connect Google and its AI to bolt.local. Then you just select Gemini Pro 2.5 experimental for free down here. And then what we need to do from this part is start getting an API key and plugging it in, right? So you see where it says open router API key. That's where we're going to get an API key and plug this in. Now, if you want to get an API key, pretty simple stuff. So you're going to go to openrouter.ai, right? And you can get a free API key and then use this for free, right? So if you go to the key section over here, we can just click create a key. I'll do that off screen. And then from here, we can start getting into the magic of coding with Bolt local. Now, even if, for example, sometimes, with these APIs, they don't work, right? So, if it's a beta or if it's just been released like 24 hours ago, sometimes these don't work. But I'm going to plug in this API key. Hopefully it'll work. And if it doesn't, I'll show you other ways to do this in a sec, right? So if we say build a to-do list app inside here, all right, we're using Google Gemini Pro 2.5 experimental. And this is starting to build out our app that we asked it to develop, right? And you see how fast it is, how easy it is to do using Bolt local, Bolt DIY. And bear in mind, right, if we go onto bolt.new, so that's the to-do list. We'll come to that in a second. But if we go to bolt.new, you have to pay, right? So if you go to my subscription here, if you want 10 million tokens, it's $20 a month. You want $26 million tokens, $50 a month. 120 million tokens, $200 a month, right? But if you want very, very similar functionality completely for free with a free API, then just set up Bolt DIY. And you've seen how I set it up in like 2 seconds. If you want the instructions for setting that up, it's inside the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. So from here, we can start building whatever we want, right? So for example, I've got a to-do list app right here. We type in whatever we want, right? Figure out Gemini Pro, bang it in. We've got the list ready to go, right? And then if you want to, for example, host this stuff, right? Then what you can do is you can go back to code. Over here, you download the code, right? So that's our folder, our React folder. And then what we can do from here with that code that we just created is we can actually host it, and we can host it for free on a subdomain. So if you want to host it for free on a subdomain, you're going to go to netlify.com, and then you're going to go from here and you're going to click on import an existing project, try Netlify drop, and then just drag and drop that folder that you just downloaded from Bolt local, right? How easy is that? So incredibly easy, not just to build your own app, not just to do it for free, not just to get free access to bolt.local, but also to get this bad boy deployed on a subdomain. Pretty crazy stuff. And that literally just took us like 1 minute or so. So you can see how easy this is, how powerful it is, etc. And you can do it in the space of like literally minutes to get this stuff deployed and hosted and that sort of thing. So that's how you can do it. I mean, if you wanted to build a game or an app or whatever, if you go back to Bolt DIY here, we can also switch between API keys. So if you want to test other stuff out, like, there's loads of free stuff here. So if you go down the list, you'll see there's a lot of free ones. So for example, like Llama 3 AB preview is free. All these ones with brackets and then free, these are free API keys that you can just play with. But I would recommend Google Gemini 2.5 Pro. It is probably the most powerful API key in the world, and you can get access to it for free, right, for coding stuff. So unbelievably powerful. We say, right, okay, build the best SEO cost calculator you can with a sleek, modern design. Wait for that to load. You can build tools, you can build apps, you can build games, calculators, etc., whatever you want. And it is super, super fast. I also find like this is a lot more reliable than other API keys that are free, right? So for example, if you try and use the DeepSeek 3.1 API from OpenRouter, it's a little bit slow sometimes, right? It doesn't always do what you want it to do. It's a little bit temperamental. Whereas, for example, when you're using a process like this, it's simple, it's easy, it doesn't take a long time. And literally in one prompt, you've got that ready to go. Look at that, right? Here we go, boom, shakalaka. All right. And then we've got the SEO cost calculator. You select your services, gives you the estimate monthly cost, something that you would hire a team of developers to build and spend thousands of dollars. You can now do for free using Bolt DIY. And that is just one of the methods that I'm going to show you today. We've got many, many more to get through, my friends. And again, SOPs are inside here. So the next method that I'm going to show you is on Klein. Now, Klein is a free extension inside Visual Studio Code. All right. So if you go to code.visualstudio.com, download this, right? And then what you're going to do is open this up in Visual Studio Code. That's going to open up something that looks like this. Then inside the extensions marketplace, you click over here, type in Klein, allow that. And you can install, I would recommend installing Klein and RuCode. These are two different ways to code. RuCode is super powerful because you can actually use like computer use with it as well, which is pretty insane. And also Klein is really good as well. I like both of those extensions. I think they're great. And then inside the settings, once you've got Klein installed, so you can see Klein on the left-hand side here, then you're going to go inside the settings, and then you can input a Google Gemini key, like you can see right here. And from the list, you will not find Gemini 2.5, right? So if you want to use Gemini 2.5, instead, what you want to do is go to Open Router, and then inside Open Router, we're going to put 2.5, and we'll look for Google Gemini 2.5. Let's have a look what we got here. Yeah, there you go. All right, so you can just find it from the list right there. Let's have a look. Yeah, Gemini is called, so it's called Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental 03-25:free. So it's free. It's available inside Open Router. You can use it inside Klein, and then you can use the same prompts you use inside Bolt. So if we go back to Bolt over here, I'm just going to shut this down because that's probably taking up a fair bit of memory in the old bolt.local. All right, so we'll leave that for now, and that is terminated on the local host. But we can always go back to the old chats if we run it again. So what we can do from here is we can say, now build an SEO cost calculator. So you can do very similar stuff inside Klein. But here's what I would say. It's like when you're using Klein is a lot slower for building stuff out inside Klein versus using bolt.local. So if you saw the way that I coded bolt.local previously, on Bolt, way faster. Whereas if you're using Klein or RuCode, it's going to take a bit more time. And I think it's because it's updating files locally. And I think as well because it's running it through the custom instructions that are set up in the settings as well, right? So you see how it's like writing the content for the page, and it's creating all the content and text for the page as well. And so honestly, for stuff like, yeah, analyzing stuff, I think Gemini 2.5 Pro is probably your best bet. I wouldn't use, some people are asking like, can you use, for example, for trading and analyzing, can you use DeepSeek 3.1? I wouldn't recommend it because DeepSeek 3.1 is a base model, not a reasoning model. What that means is it's not as good at thinking and reasoning and logic and coding as something as analytical as Gemini 2.5 Pro. So I would rather use Gemini 2.5 Pro for analyzing and that sort of thing. Right? So we're coding that out. We're building out websites using Klein. You can do exactly the same thing inside RuCode as well. So if you switch to RuCode here, this is method number 3. You can do exactly the same thing. Again, you would select from the list. You can use DeepSeek if you want, but again, I would always prefer to use Gemini 2.5 Pro. And again, you select it from the list, hit save, done. Right? The difference, one of the biggest differences between Klein and RuCode is that RuCode is easier to install MCP servers, right? So if you go inside the MCP section over here, it has like a full in RuCode here, it has this MCP server section, and then you can see which MCP servers are running, right? I'm just going to delete that one for now. But you can see we're using like Perplexity Ask right here, so we can connect RuCode directly to Perplexity. So the way they use MCP servers is very different, right? Whereas if we go over to Klein, they actually have an MCP servers marketplace, and then you can use the Gemini 2.5 Pro API to install MCP servers, such as connecting it to stuff like Google Calendar, Discord. I've connected it to Perplexity. Olama is another good one. Like, there's lots of good stuff right there. And this is completely free, right? So just to recap here, we've talked about 3 different methods, all right? We've talked about using Bolt Local, which is free, and you can build anything using that. You can also, for example, use Klein, RuCode. These are many different options, right? Let's keep going down the list because we got a lot to get through here, peeps. All right, so this is something that I'm going to recommend called make.com. Make.com is really good for like linear sort of workflows. All right, so you can build like AI agents using make.com. And I'm just going to grab the password here. All right, we'll plug that in and we'll log into make.com. Wait for that to load. And what we can do is build like AI agents with Gemini 2.5 Pro. All right. So let me show you an example of what we built yesterday using similar sort of processes. So for example, we've got, where have we got it here? So we've got tools like this. This is actually made with DeepSeek, but we can duplicate it. So I'm going to clone this right now. We'll call this Gemini 2.5 content creator, copy. All right, hit save. And then what we're doing is we're taking keywords from a spreadsheet, plugging that for OpenRouter, sending it to WordPress. All right. Now, inside the settings for OpenRouter here, we have the prompt for generating the content. We have this connected to OpenRouter. And then we're just going to scroll down here. And instead of using DeepSeek v3, I'm going to switch this over to Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental. Right. There you can see it. We're going to hit save. So again, you would just add your OpenRouter connection, your WordPress connection, and your Google Sheet connection inside make.com, and you can build like one-click AI agents using this process as well, right? So this is method number 4 for using Gemini 2.5 Pro. And then, for example, if we choose where to start over here, we're going to choose manually from our spreadsheet of keywords. This is an AI SEO content writer. You can use this for whatever you want, right? Like you could take keywords and then plug it through OpenRouter and then do tweets or LinkedIn content. You could automate emails. You could fire off emails to potential prospects, whatever you want. We're going to hit save on that, and then we're going to hit run once, and then we can start using this process. Now, let's have a look here. What's going on here? Why is this not working? I'm just going to switch my OpenRouter connection, make sure we're using the right model. We'll test that again. There we go. All right, so that's working nicely. Now, if you want to see an example of the output, think of this is because the other API connection that I had inside OpenRouter was the old connection, and I've actually deleted the API key since then. So if we log into my WordPress over here, whilst we're waiting for that to load, I'll show you some examples of what I did yesterday using the exact same process. So here's a Gemini Pro experimental example. We're going to click on preview. We've got the content, and then you can see it's just created like a nicely formatted blog. Reads pretty nicely. It's interesting. It's all targeted to the keyword we wanted to write SEO content about. And this was free, right? Make.com is free for 1,000 operations. Google Sheets is free to use. WordPress is free to use. OpenRouter is free to use. And it's using the latest API keys from Gemini, right? Now, if we take that and we'll go over to ChatGPT, we'll plug that in and we'll just check the AI detectability on that. Is it AI detectable? No, right? ZeroGPT, which is an AI detector, is free, and it is detecting this as 100%, well, 98% human written. It says your text is human written, right? So if automated content, it's all customized to us, nicely formatted, doesn't cost us anything. We did it in one click, and it all links out to our personalized funnels, like you can see right here, right? Pretty amazing stuff. Plus, it can publish automatically for us as well if we want. So that's how the whole process works. You can see it worked quite cleanly there. And if you want my best automations for that, go inside the AI Profit Boardroom. We've got like a whole module on make.com automations, and there's like 12 different templates you can get inside there. So make sure you get that stuff. All right. So just to recap, we've talked about Bolt DIY, Klein, Code. We've talked about make.com. You can also just go directly inside the chat, right? So if you go to aistudio.google.com, right? And then you select Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental over here, create a prompt. You can just build whatever you want inside here. Now, if you want to see an example of that, let me show you an example right here. So I'm just going to go through the library. What else we got? Yeah, so I created like a pixelated dinosaur game yesterday, right? So here you can see the code. I just went to Gemini 2.5 Pro. I said, make me a captivating endless runner game, blah, blah, blah. Do it in 5JS. It gave us the code right here. We can copy that So we'll copy that to clipboard. And then it even gives us the instructions on how to get this set up. So if we scroll up here, we're going to go to editor.p5js.org. Let's go to that website. We'll copy that. We'll paste in the code. We'll hit play. Boom. Game built, right? Pixelated dinosaur game. Living the dream, sunshine. All right. And you can now build games as well for free with Gemini 2.5 Pro. So that's another method as well. Like you got so many different options right here. Choose the one that works the best for you. It depends on what you're building as well, right? So for example, if you just want to build a simple game, then you're probably going to use something like AI Studio. If, for example, you need to build like a really big website, well, you're probably going to use Client or Recode for that, right? If you want to build out a SaaS app like super fast, then all you need to do is you can just go over to Bolt Local and just build that out for free, right? So many different options depending on what you want. If you have a linear automation like this and you need to post from one platform to another one, then make.com is really, really good for that. Next up, what I want to show you is Browser Agent Web UI. All right. Now, I've actually set this up with DeepSeek. The instructions are inside the AI Profit Boardroom, but you don't need to use DeepSeek. You can use Gemini 2.5 Pro. And then I'm going to show you an example video tutorial of this, so you can see exactly how it runs. I'm not going to show it live on this video because it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to set up. All right. But you can basically set up browser web UI like you can see right here. You would plug in the LM provider as Google, not as Olama, right? And then like you can see right here, it can just go off and start doing stuff for you. Right, so check out that video. It's on YouTube. You can see how the AI analyzes the page. The good thing about Google's Gemini model as well is it's a vision-based model, so it can do its magic just like that. And again, instructions inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Right? Next up, what I want to show you is you can use deep research agents. Right, so if you want to build like really in-depth research reports, you can go to deep research inside Gemini. This is another free feature as well. It's not necessarily using Gemini 2.5 Pro, but if you need like the best research, better than a human, faster than a human, this is how you do it, right? So for example, if we say, okay, research the latest ChatGPT 4.0 image update, it should start working its magic. And the cool thing about this is, you got everything inside one ecosystem, right? So for example, you need to do deep research, boom, there you go. You need to do something like personalization based on your search history, boom, there you go, right? If you want to build out some tasks with like maybe a website or a SaaS or a landing page, then just go to 2.0 Flash and use the Canvas feature. Like everything is in one side, one ecosystem, one place. And that's the beauty of this, is like you're not going from place to place to place and messing around like that. So if we hit start research like so, we can build out these deep research AI agents that can just go off, search the internet. We can leave that tab running in the background as well if it's taking too long for you. And then we can just go off and do that. All right. The final two methods that I want to show you, so I've shown you all of these different methods already. All right. Last two methods that I want to show you. Number one is using NA10, right? So if we go over to NA10 over here, you can actually create AI agents directly inside NA10. And these are kind of like one-click chatbots or workflows where you can connect different apps to each other. The difference between, say, something like NA10 and make.com is that NA10 is not linear, right? And you can build your own chatbots inside it. Whereas make.com is very like, you go from point A to point B, boom, straight line, right? So for example, let's have a look at this workflow that I actually built out yesterday. If we have a look at this one, I'm just going to check the Open Router chat model, and we're going to select instead over here Gemini 2.5. Let's have a look here. I'll put 2.5 Pro. Yeah, there we go. So you're going to select Gemini 2.5 Pro experimental, like you see, right, inside the AI model. And we have an AI agent where you can essentially like automate sending emails or going back and forth inside the chat. You can also add a memory in here as well. So you can add a memory that allows it to remember previous messages so that it kind of remembers stuff that's going on. Right? If you want to publish this, you can also make this chat publicly available, grab that URL, publish your workflow, and you've got a chatbot that you can share with the world or embed to your website, etc. And then if we go inside the chat here, we'll say, all right, send a message to me at juliangoldie.com telling him there's new ways to build anything you want with Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental. And then I'll list out all these different methods here using this. Keep it fun plus conversation. And then from there, we can start building this out. The other way that we can do this is we can delete the open router chat model if the API key doesn't work. I told you it'd be temperamental sometimes, right? So if you're having any problems with that, you can add inside here. Let's X off that. What are you doing, mate? All right. Click on chat model over here. Click on Google Gemini chat model. And then you can select 2.5 Pro Experimental. Give it the same chat message. And now it's using Google Gemini to generate that response, like you can see. So the chat model is working. Actually, what's interesting is you go inside Visual Studio Code and Client, and OpenRouter works perfectly with Gemini, right? Whereas, for example, if you go over to N8N and try and do the same thing, it's better to have a Google Gemini chat head, from what I can see, because that API key worked perfectly first time around, right? So we're good to go on that. I'm going to hit save on that. If you want to download this template from me, if you want to just steal this stuff from me, I'm going to download that and I'll plug it into this section right here. So add a new resource file. And if you want to just import this workflow, it's waiting for you right there. And it's an example. We'll hit save. Boom. There you go. All right. And then if we check our emails in the sandbox, here we go. Look at that. Send it right there. The only thing that I would say here is make sure you write it in HTML and make sure the output is in HTML as well, because then the formatting is going to be much nicer. You get the point, right? If I say write it and send it in HTML, hopefully the formatting will be much better this time. So let's wait for that to load. And again, you can connect this to any tool. I'm just giving you a quick example for the video. If you want to see all my best templates for this stuff, type in N8N into the AI Profit Boardroom search feature here. And then you'll see all these N8N agent workflows, like you see. All these different resources here. We've got loads of different AI agents, like you can see here as well. N8N sales agents, it's not limited to just sending emails. It's just for the sake of this video that I do that, right? So if we go back now to N8N, should have sent, let's double check the sent messages here. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Couldn't have written that title better myself. That's a perfect one for YouTube, right? That's ready to go. And then you can see it's just written it nicely formatted. So just make sure you output it in HTML inside the prompt settings. And then it's done the magic, isn't it? It's done it better than a human. That's what we like. And then we've got the deep research report ready to go, back, enable, ready there. So that's pretty cool. All right, so this is the deep research report we were talking about earlier. It takes about 5-10 minutes to go, and then we're good to go on that. And the final method that I want to show you, all right, it's been a long video, this one. Been through a lot of different methods to build anything with Gemini 2.5 Pro. So what you're going to do with this app right here is you can select inside the models Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental, and then we can say build me a calculator app. Like you can see, we'll hit enter over there, and then it will just build out the app. Kind of similar to Bolt Local, but it's not going to be as big a product with as many different features, right? And it might take a little bit longer. But yeah, you can see how you can just get started with this. The good thing about this is you don't need to use the terminal to get this all set up, and you can turn your idea into an app for free using this process, right? How easy was that? So there you go. You got the calculator. It's a better designed calculator than Windows used to have a few years ago, to be honest with you. And you just did it with AI. Boom, right? If you open up the sandbox as well, we can open this up, and we've got the code ready to go There we go, right? So we've talked about 9 different ways to build anything that you want with Gemini 2.5 Pro. All the SPs are inside the AI Profit Boardroom, including all the instructions, N10 agent workflows, etc. And the prices for this are going up at the end of the month. So make sure you sign up now before you miss out, my friends, all right? We wouldn't want you to miss out on the prices for this, as it is an absolute steal. And this community is just focused on one thing, which is making more money and saving time with AI. So if you want to do that, feel free to get it inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And if you want to jump on weekly Q&As with us, you can jump on the live calls right here. Ask us any questions you have. If you want to get all my best courses, SOPs, workflows, etc., it's all inside here. And inside the community as well, we've got 557 members, all focused just like you are on making more money and saving time with AI. So if you post inside the community, you can ask any questions you have. You can get help from all the community members here. And we're all here just focused on one thing, which is, a rising tide lifts all boats. Basically, let's help each other out and let's learn together and make sure we all don't get replaced with AI. All right. And if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session, that's completely free. We'll show you how to take websites from 0 to 145,000 visits this month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot. And this free link building acceleration session will give you a custom tailored link building game plan to make more leads, sales, profits, and websites from your website. More leads, sales, and profits from your website. You'll discover the secrets of SEO link building, answer any questions you have, and you'll learn down to 10x SEO traffic based on what's working for us and our happy clients, like you can see right here. Right? Feel free to get that link in the comments description, completely free for you, my friends. So before we get on to the next topic, let's see what we got here. Heck yeah, brother. That's what I'm talking about, Jonathan. Legend. Kevin says, I still can't believe the code it's writing. I can't believe it either. It's just stupidly good, like ridiculously good. It's cleaner as well. I don't know if you ever tried to look at other websites' code before, but when I've done that for SEO, the code is always like super messy, super nasty the way that it's coded, especially if it's through WordPress. AI code is so clean and efficient. It's better than a human. Kevin says, most productive YouTube video I've seen in a while. Happy to help, mate. Thank you. And Carlos says, I also tried using Gemini API to use 2.5 directly in Visual Studio Code. I think it's going to be on and off in the beta version, right? So it's going to take time. Jonathan says, have you tried Lovable? I have. Not a massive fan, to be honest with you, compared to Bold or New. It didn't do anything special. That's why I stopped talking about it in YouTube videos. I was like, it's not really doing anything that blows my mind yet. But, give it like one single update and these tools just change. They become way more practical and way more useful. And William says the custom nodes are kind of amazing. Absolutely, mate. And William says, was toying around, where can we get the biggest efficiency gains? So for stuff like that, I would use the AI Profit Boardroom to help you figure that out, right? So we have a whole section on like how to be proactive, how to be on point with AI, and how to save yourself the most time. Now, the best place to start with that is the foundations to get started section, because we talk about how to save hundreds of hours. And also we have a crash course here, right? And if you implement one of those single systems, you're going to save yourself hundreds of hours, right? So that's the way that I would do it. Just pick one system and then just keep implementing it over and over again, all right? So let's see what we got on the next topic here. Just going to take a little break. I'll be back with you in a sec. Gemini 2.5, the new update, as you can see right here, versus Grok, versus Claude, versus ChatGPT. Who wins? Today, we're going to be comparing them side by side and testing which ones are the best. Got a bunch of different tests and use cases to check this through. So Let's see how it goes. All right. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to test this prompt right here for writing content. All right. So we're going to say write a 2,000-word article, the future of AI agents, the impact on automation, etc. And we'll hit this into each option like you can see right here. All right. So we're going to be testing this out versus each of these models. We use ChatGPT 4 because that's kind of like the default one for writing inside ChatGPT. And then we'll see which one comes best back with the outputs and performs the best. Now, first thing I would say is Grok has come back to us and seems to be the fastest. But actually, if you look at the content itself, like look at those big walls of text, look at the way it's written, right? Like, would anyone actually read that blog? And so for me, that's one of the worst that I've seen so far. Let's have a look what we got here from ChatGPT 4.0. So this is pretty nice, the way it's written. So what is an AI agent? You know, it's dumbed down the language, made it nicely formatted, made it really easy to read, as you can see right here, and that's performing pretty well. So, you know, in plain English, an AI agent is software that takes action for you based on goals or prompts. You give an objective, it decides what to do next. Pretty nicely written, feels very humanized. It's still writing out, but you can see how fast it is, and it's also doing like the 2,000 words that we asked it to. So that is doing a great job. Let's have a look at Claude. Claude is one of my favorite ones if you give it the right prompt. If you give it a prompt like this, look at this, just really long, boring walls of text. I'm going to put that as coming in third. I think maybe slightly better than Grok, but not as good as ChatGPT. And then we got Gemini. Gemini's written the blog here, but that is more like a deep research report, right? Like, who would read that? And so out of all of them, I'm going to say that ChatGPT is winning by a long way, right? Long, long way. So when it comes to writing, pretty good. Now, one thing that I would just note here is, like, if you give it the right prompt, I've got this prompt inside the AI Profit Boardroom here. If you give it a better prompt, Claude is actually pretty good for writing, but it seems like, you know, if you don't have the right prompts in place, look at how bad that is compared to the output from ChatGPT that required basically no prompting at all. Huge difference right there. All right, so next up, what we're going to do now is I'm going to go into each and I'm going to say, okay, new chat, create a beautiful landing page for my SEO agency's website. All right. Now, one thing to note here is, like, if you want to use Gemini 2.5 Pro for free, you can do that inside AI Studio. Go to create prompt, then select Gemini 2.5 Pro experimental, and you can get access to this for free. All right. So, you know, that's one of the other options that I would say here is all of these models are free up to a limit. But actually, if you use AI Studio, that doesn't seem to have a limit. Like, you can use it for free as much as you want, peeps. All right. So we're going to go back here now. We'll do the same inside Grok as well. The cool thing about Claude is it has a canvas option. So does ChatGPT. And let's go back here. What we're actually going to do is use 2.0 Flash for generating this inside Google because it has a canvas option. We'll hit enter like so, and we'll see what we get back in a second. All right. So now we've got the code back from ChatGPT. Let's run this, see how it looks. It's not bad. I mean, the content itself actually reads really well, right? That's better written than most people. It's got a nice little CTA to put in your website URL, nicely designed icons. I don't like the front end so much because it's super boring in terms of the way that it's done. Claude is still writing. Grok didn't even figure out we need HTML. So that's going to finish last again for me, to be honest. It's been a brutal test for Grok already, to be honest with you. And we're going to keep going through this. So you can see the output from Grok here. It actually said I can't directly generate HTML or CSS, which is mad because Grok can, right? It genuinely can, but it's refusing to. So Grok has to come last on that test. It's just no good. I don't know why, but Gemini is written in Chinese characters. The design is pretty nice, but for some reason it's written it all in Chinese. Why? Why have you done that? I've never seen that before. All right, let's go back to, I mean, ChatGPT is winning just by default for writing in English, but look at that from Claude. Claude has created the best so far. I mean, nicely designed, looks really cool, good UI. I like the color gradients on it. Nice copy as well. So it dominates search results with data-driven SEO. Really nice headline. So in this order, here's what I'm going to say. Claude has won that by a long way. ChatGPT comes in second. Not bad at all. It just could do with a bit of color on the page, but you could always go back in the chat right there. Gemini totally failed and gave us something in Chinese, and I still don't understand why. That's a bit mad. And then Grok said, I can't create HTML for you, even though it's got a preview section inside Grok 3 for HTML. It just didn't understand, right? So out of all these, you're gonna go with Claude, I would say, for doing this stuff, which is crazy. I don't understand. Like Grok seems to have got worse or something like that. So let's keep going now. And next up, what we're going to do is we're actually going to use a prompt from the AI Profit Boardroom for creating games. All right. So we're going to go inside the classroom here. And I've already done this inside AI Studio. So I don't need to do this with Gemini 2.5 Pro yet, but I will do it with the rest. Okay. So we're going to go inside Claude here. And I'm going to say, make me a captivating endless runner game. Key instructions on screen. Use P5.js, no HTML, pixelated dinosaur, and interesting backgrounds. Right. We'll use the same inside ChatGPT 4.0. Grok, I dread using it. I don't know what it's going to come back to me with. Oh yeah, look, it's actually doing its magic now. That is surprising. And then if you want to see the output from Gemini 2.5 Pro that I've already done, let me come back to this right here. So this is a prompt that I used yesterday. We'll scroll down and we will get this code, and I'll show you what we got back from Gemini 2.5 Pro. Right? So if you want to preview code like this, if you're using the same prompts as me, you can plug this into editor.p5js.org. And then inside here, we can hit play, and you can see that we've got this bad boy ready to go. All right, looks pretty cool. Nice little game, functions perfectly, quite addictive. And we've got the score racking up in the top right over there. You see? And then it works perfectly. If we want to restart, we press enter, press space to start here. Boom. Beautiful. All right. Really good from Google Gemini. So they've done a great job there. Claude is still coming back to us. ChatGPT has come back now. So let's see what we got back from ChatGPT. We'll copy the code. And we'll test this one. So this is the code from ChatGPT. Let's see what we got back. I mean, what is that UI? I can't jump or anything. It says, yeah, that's pretty poor. I mean, that is not a dinosaur, mate. Not a pixelated dinosaur, and definitely not a dinosaur. Claude is still coding it out, so wait for that. And we have the code back from Grok 3 as well. So let's see what we get back here. So far, Gemini is winning by a long way. The UI is not quite as nice here. So you see how it's green on green? But it works. I mean, it's definitely better than ChatGPT's option. It's better. It's not quite as fast and as smooth. I mean, if you look at the UI of this versus the UI of Gemini, this looks a lot nicer, to be fair to it. So far, what I would say is the Grok is coming in second so far. Gemini is winning. ChatGPT, I didn't like the UI at all. Let's have a look what we got back from Claude. Is it opening up? It's giving us a preview, but there's nothing inside the preview, which is strange, all right? So we're just going to copy this code, and we'll go to P5.js and just preview this again. Let's see how Claude performed. Pixelated dinosaur runner. Let's test it out. Not bad, actually. That is a hard game to play, though. Look at that. How are you meant to... That's hard, mate. Yeah, I like it, though. Not going to lie to you. So I would say if it was actually beatable, because it seems like it's almost impossible to beat that, then I would probably put that number one or joint first. I would say that Claude and Gemini did a fantastic job there. Grok's output was okay, mediocre. I'm going to put that number 3. ChatGPT's UI, pretty terrible. I mean, it's just a block with a bit of text, right? Not great, not great. So you can see who's winning there and who won the game right there. All right. So let's keep going through now. So we've tested it for content writing, for coding out landing pages. We've tested each of these models for creating content and also building out games as well. What are we going to do next? So the next one that we're going to do is this is going to be kind of like a reasoning test. So we're going to go inside Claude and reset for each one here. Switch back to 2.5 Pro Experimental inside Google. I want to say there's a tree on the other side of a river in winter. How can I pick an apple, right? It's a reasoning test. And what we're trying to do here is figure out, okay, which one is the best for reasoning, logic, which one gives us the best solutions, and which one most intelligently looks up the problem and then gives us solutions, all right? So we're just waiting for each one to come back to us right now. And we'll see who performs the best. So let's see what we got here. All right, so it's recognized that the biggest challenge is apples in winter. So obviously in winter, if you're trying to pick trees on the other side of a river, it's not going to be ideal, right? Because quite likely, even if you cross the river, there's going to be no apples in winter. So it's figured that out. It's analyzed the situation really well, and it's given us a bunch of solutions right here. So pretty good. Let's check out now. Claude has recognized the same, but it doesn't analyze it in the same level of depth, right? So for example, if you compare Gemini 2.5 Pro, it's really thought about it. It's given us a really in-depth answer. It's analyzed all the problems and solutions and the conclusion, etc. I would say Claude doesn't do that in as much detail. If we have a look at Grok 3, it's recognized that apples typically don't grow in winter, but I don't like the way the answer is not logically set out, right? So if you look at, you've got these titles, it's really easy to read. I think that Grok has been tuned down in terms of its reasoning. Like, it just doesn't seem to be as powerful as it was when it was first released. I would say that is harder to read than this one right here, and it's just not as logical or as well reasoned out. And let's have a look at ChatGPT. So it's like, right, let's break this down. It's an apple, there's a tree, it's across a river, it's winter. So let's look through it step by step. But the biggest problem here is it's not figured out that there's actually there's no apples in winter on the tree, right? It's not figured that out when it's done all this analyzing. So if I had to put these in order, I'm going to go with Gemini, then Claude, then Grok 3, and ChatGPT 4.0 comes last. Now, if we wanted to give this a fairer way of comparing each model, then what I would actually recommend doing is you switch to 0.1 and use one of the reasoning models. And to be honest, if we did that, we'd probably get much better outputs. But I believe, doesn't ChatGPT, let me have a look at this. No. So like, yeah, if you wanted to switch this over to, for example, like 0.3 mini, let's test it out now. And we'll see if that figures it out. So we're using ChatGPT 0.3 mini. It's going to use its reasoning model to figure this out. I mean, that's even worse, isn't it? Look at the quality and responses of ChatGPT 0.3 mini versus Gemini. Like, it's totally night and day. So let's have a look here. It says, worried about crossing a cold, icy river in winter, wondering blah, blah, blah. And it still doesn't recognize that there's no apples on a tree in winter. All right, so ChatGPT 0.3 mini, using the most powerful reasoning model it has, is not as powerful as Gemini 2.5 advanced, right? So again, ChatGPT comes in last, whether you're using GPT 4.0 or whether you're using 0.3 mini, it's still down. It's still down, my friends, all right? So you can see the difference between the models, how well they perform, etc. The other thing is as well, inside ChatGPT 4.0, we're going to test this out now. This is a really interesting test, so we can do step by step. So we're going to do a test. So I actually used this morning using ChatGPT and the new image generation method. All right. Now, Claude automatically fails on this test or isn't even in the race here because it cannot generate images. So you can't even count Claude at this point, right? But what we can do is we can test each of these models, and ChatGPT has given me a really, really good option right here for image generation. All right. So what we're going to do inside Grok is we're going to use exactly the same prompt we use inside ChatGPT. And we said, create a landscape YouTube thumbnail like this, but it should be regarding the end of designers, about new ChatGPT update. That means we don't need designers anymore, right? And I'm going to plug this in across each of the models, right? So the output from ChatGPT was top class. I've never seen anything as good as this from any other AI model. It was unbelievable, really, really powerful, just from the newest update from ChatGPT. Let's do the same thing inside Gemini, and let's do the same thing inside Grok. All right. So if we go inside Grok here, and we'll start a new chat just to keep things fresh. We'll grab that image that we use inside the ChatGPT prompt. We're going to use that inside Gemini. I'm going to use that inside Grok. Obviously, Claude is out of the race. And we'll see how it does. All right. This one might take a minute or so whilst waiting. And from what I can see, the output from Gemini 2.5, not very good. Not very good at all. Right? If we compare what we should have got versus what actually came back, not that great. If we use, maybe we use like the actual main version 2.0 Flash. Let's test that again. So I'm going to retest this. I mean, Grok as well is not done anything near as good as ChatGPT, right? Look at the output from ChatGPT versus the output from Grok. This is, I can't use that. You know what I mean? Can't use that. So you can see the differences here. And you can see the Grok is nowhere near the same level as ChatGPT. Let's have a look at Gemini, and we'll use 2.0 Flash instead. So we'll use exactly the same prompt. Let's grab the image over here, plug that into Gemini, and then we'll do the same thing and see what we get back. Yeah, I mean, look at that. It's just come back with like a text message. Where's the image, mate? So not great there. I mean, yeah, if you compare all the models here, I mean, 2.5 Pro's response was pretty poor. Grok didn't create anything near the same level of quality. And Claude obviously can't do that at all. So hands down, ChatGPT delivers like designer level quality responses, right? Like I can just download that, boom, upload it to YouTube. It's over. It's game over. You don't need a designer, right? That's the biggest difference here. I think whatever you use for images, GPT-4o is like the new standard for all this stuff. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get access to my best prompts, tips, workflows, etc., including 9 ways to build anything that you want with Gemini, feel free to get that with the SOPs inside the AI Profit Boardroom. This comes with all of my best AI workflows, tips, tutorials, templates, etc., and even a crash course on how to use AI and save time and make more money with it, along my best SOPs. And also, inside the Q&A section, you can jump on the weekly Q&As here and ask any questions you have. On top of that, inside the community, you can ask any questions that you want. You know, we've got 557 members, all dedicated to making more money and saving time with AI. So feel free to get that link in the comments description. Prices are actually going up this month, so make sure you lock in your legacy price now before you miss out. And if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session, feel free to get that link in the comments description. We'll show you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visits a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot. And on this free link building acceleration session, you'll get a custom tailored game plan to generate more leads, sales, and profits from your website. You'll discover the secrets of SEO link building, answer any questions you have one-to-one, and you'll learn the best link building strategies for you, plus how to 10x SEO traffic based on what's working for us and our happy clients, like you can see right here. Feel free to get that link in the comments description. Appreciate you watching, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you.